Good morning, good day, and good evening. I'm, as always, your host, Rudy Robertson. And today, well, I don't know what this is going to be because Kylo's back, so we'll see how it ends up going. For
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know who you are, introduce yourself, and we'll just go from there.
Hi, I'm KyloNeko. I made the Linux guide to VTubing, and it has snowballed.
By
It
snowballed,
legit snowballed.
what do we mean here?
So what I mean here is, so like
Wait, do you
originally,
have
like
a?
when
You didn't
people
send
were
me a link to
doing,
that one. Sorry,
I need to,
I
but
probably have it in my recommendations, but let me see if I can find it. Just keep going.
yeah. So basically, it's snowballed, and we now have a full Discord full of Linux VTubers. Before there used to be a lot of things when it was like starting out, like there wasn't that many. But
Mm,
now it's kind of like people are like, "Oh, I don't want to use Windows anymore. Can
mm,
you help me out?" And there's even some people who aren't even VTubers in there that kind of just started using Linux as well.
mm. Yeah, because I remember last time I think you had just basic. I think the guide had been up for a while, maybe a couple of months at that
Yeah,
point, but it was
like
still,
2 or 3 months. Yeah.
yeah, but it still really didn't have that much going to it just yet. I remember it being
Now it's
very,
got yeah.
it being very like so curated to your setup, and there still being a lot of things that were like missing outside of that.
Yeah, there was like a lot missing out of that. And then I started having people help me, like Ren and other people as well. So like it's definitely like became a lot bigger than what I thought it was going to be,
Mm,
and
mm,
people are like actually benefiting from it.
mm. For anyone who I guess doesn't know why you swapped to Linux, just tell people that, and then I guess I don't know. We'll work out where we're going as we go.
All right. So like one of the main reasons why I ended up swapping to Linux to begin with is basically how Microsoft is handling their system, because I started seeing telltale signs of them, basically having an overall bad OS. And I've even explained this before in like videos I've made, that they started to say, "Oh, we're going to release Copilot." And I'm like, "Well, this isn't like the this isn't, oh my God. This isn't like the best like decision that they're going to make, 'cause it's basically spyware."
Mm,
Now they are getting to the point to where the AI that they put into their system has basically been a part of the system now instead of being like an add-on.
mm.
So like people can disable it, but you're not really gonna get rid of it. Because I've seen some videos of people trying to like remove it, and all of a sudden they're locked out of their computer. They can't get into it, and something breaks. It's not good.
Well, not just
And
that, Windows has a habit of when people disable stuff after system
yeah,
updates, sometimes it just comes back on.
yeah. There's also that too. I mean, that's always been a thing since like Windows 7, probably even before that.
Mm. Well,
That
and I know
like you
definitely a lot
gotta
of the data collection stuff that came in with 8. That was a big deal. Every other
yeah, the
update, it would just
telemetry.
re-enable every single toggle.
Oh yeah, it definitely would do that. And a lot of people are just getting tired of it, because people would like start streaming, and all of a sudden Windows update, or they get a random crash, or it just doesn't it doesn't do it for people anymore. Like before, like you have like Windows 7, Windows 10. Yeah, Windows 10 probably wasn't the best OS, but it wasn't the worst one either. Now Windows 11's kind of fully solidified to the fact that yes, it is a bad OS. Get the fuck off that.
I think I think with the direction that Windows 11 is going, or just Windows in general, a lot of people are now actually considering, and not just the fact that Windows is getting bad. It's
Yeah.
one thing if it's bad and there's no other options. People are starting to realize that there actually is another option. There is another thing you
Yeah.
can use, and it actually is pretty good. If things were happening like this maybe 7 or so years ago, when stuff with Windows 8 and Windows 10 were happening, no one wanted to move because back then it was a much worse state. Like, gaming wasn't really a thing. General
Yeah.
software availability was an absolute mess. Not like it could have been way worse, but still a mess
Yeah.
compared to what it is today. So now you actually have a legitimate alternative, and with Linux getting more popular, it's like a snowball effect. So things
Yeah.
that were missing, most of the time are missing because there's not really either anyone who's ported it or any way to get it working. But as more
Or
and more
there's
people use it, it
yeah.
becomes more and more of a viable platform to try to solve these problems.
or there wouldn't be any demand for it until there was.
Mhm.
So the call before the storm, like it legit was like the Steam Deck going,
Mhm.
oh, this can play. This isn't Windows. It can play games, huh? And most people probably who bought the Steam Deck didn't even realize it was Linux.
Mhm.
So they go ahead and play their games, and they're doing just fine with it for the most part until they run into an anti-cheat game that doesn't support it.
Yeah.
But basically, like, it's getting to the point where people are like, okay, well, let me start like taking a look to see what the alternatives are. And I've done some digging before with like some people saying, oh, is anybody like actually using this? Like, yeah, people are using this
Mhm.
without even letting me know. Like, there are videos, people like, oh, I'm starting out on Linux, I'm a VTuber, or I'm starting out on Linux, so I'm just like doing this challenge kind of thing. Like, you start seeing like ex-employees of Linux Tech Tips starting to do this now. Like, people are starting to see the appeal of Linux now because they're like, huh, maybe I could go without League of Legends in Valorant for a better experience. So like, yeah, it's a lot, but it's not bad. It's actually like gotten progressively good. And I've also noticed like, yeah, there's like a whole lot of like Linux distributions,
Mhm.
but there is a lot of people kind of just zeroing in about like 5 or 6, maybe 7.
Mhm.
And like the ones that I've mainly seen people kind of like latch on to lately is like Pika OS, Nobara, Cashy OS, Bazite, Linux Mint, and now Zorin OS because people are using that apparently. At least they downloaded a lot of it. I'm not sure how many ever actually are using it, but
Mhm.
um, we have at least 6 OSs where it's basically there's probably more, but I mean
Well,
I
of course,
guess
you have things like
Omarchy for
Fedora
people,
that
but
people will talk about as
yeah,
well. Like, not everyone's using a thing based on Fedora.
yeah,
You mentioned CashOS. I would encourage people to stay away from Ubuntu unless they know what they're doing. Just because Ubuntu, like I often see these benchmarks from Phoronix, and it's like
yeah,
CashOS performs way better than other distros, and it's comparing it to Ubuntu.
yeah.
It compares it like Fedora and Ubuntu. It's like
I'd
half a
say
percent better than Fedora and
yeah.
like 10% better than Ubuntu because Ubuntu is just shipping old garbage.
Yeah, Ubuntu is kind of this different, but like when you're starting somebody out, you kind of want them to get used to the OS
Mm,
first. Because like they're starting out from Windows, they don't know anything,
right.
and that's the whole point of like the VTuber guide. Like I want to make sure people are able to look at the guide, make sure it's easy to read.
Mm,
I add resources that probably aren't directly related to VTubing, even though they could be used for VTubers.
mm, mm,
So like, I want to make sure the experience is not going to be bad, and if they have issues, they can reach out to me to my Discord that I have that's for like tech support.
mm,
So
mm,
like and people have, and that's great. And it's also progressed to the point where the community in there has also started to help making videos as well. Because I've already made like a follow up to one video that you and me and a couple others that were in as well, like Vinny and Lace and Ren as well.
mm.
So like there was like a bunch of people on there, and there's probably gonna be another video later on. But um, there's definitely like a lot of progression towards like the whole, oh, we're going to use Linux now, let's stop using this Windows
Mm, mm,
OS because of the decisions they're making.
mm, mm. Yeah, I think it's honestly it's overall a good thing, regardless of whether people actually stick with Linux. At least
Yeah,
knowing that the alternative exists there, so that if things do get progressively worse, they know that there is a fallback there.
yeah. And if there's something that's progressively worse, like their OS, like say, let's take example of Ubuntu,
Mm,
some people didn't like snaps. Well, they kind of moved to like Linux Mint, they kind of moved to Fedora, Arch, other places
mm,
like you always have that option. You don't really have that option with Windows. You might have additions you can change to, but those are progressively becoming harder to change to because when Windows 10 LTS loses its support and then Enterprise loses its support, what are you going to do? You're going to use Windows 11 because that's the only thing that you can realistically do in a consumer market as far as like trying to get like actually updates for it. Now there are people who still are on Windows 7 and people are on Windows 10, of course, like they're never going to leave.
yeah, there are people that
But the
bring
ones that do,
people that bring like patches over from the server version, and there's like a weird
yeah,
community of Windows hacking that people do this in, but most people are
yeah,
not doing that.
they even do it to an extent for XP systems, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, which is kind of good because like if you have a community backing it and Microsoft's no longer doing it, that's the equivalent of hosting a Monster Hunter private server, which I might be doing.
Haha. We'll get to Monster Hunter
Uh,
later.
oh yeah. But yeah, it's definitely gotten to that point. And just like a couple days ago, we like got iPhone tracking working for VTube Studio,
Hmm.
and it might end up progressively going on to other programs too.
Hmm.
I had to test it, I had to update it. I went ahead and like got it all up there, and thanks to Himmelin, since they're able to code it, it's like something was people were asking for. Like when the guide was originally there, like a couple days afterwards, like probably like around the month,
Hmm.
somebody was like, "Oh, is there any solution to the USB iPhone tracking problem?" And that was an issue that was on there for like months
Hmm. Hmm.
until it eventually got figured out. Like, yeah, now it's possible. Now it's considered a system service through System D.
Hmm.
Um, so now, like, if you just install it through either the PPA or you build the package, it will go ahead and launch in the background. And what you would do is you would just go ahead and enable USB tethering on your iPhone, and then on the YouTube Studio, you would have to actually go onto the wireless part of it and make sure it's got the right port.
Hmm.
Because basically, what it's doing, it's not really a wireless connection; it's looking for a port
Hmm.
because it's trying to communicate with the phone. And then once it does that, it just works.
Right.
And you don't, and the iPhone doesn't even have to be online.
Mhm. For anyone who might not be aware, because a lot of people who are not VTubers watch this, why does anyone care
Yeah.
about iPhone tracking?
So basically, the thing that iPhone tracking does really good is it's got a thing called it's a thing that has with like ARKit tracking, which ARKit tracking are blend shapes.
Mhm.
I do ARKit tracking whenever I get whenever I'm able to do that, but I've done it before, and there's about 52 blend shapes,
Mhm.
which the program on the iPhone, which is this facial recognition being used for an app,
Mhm. Mhm.
is really good because Mac knows what they're doing with that. And it's basically able to make the facial movements on a model, whether
Mhm.
it's 3D or 2D, if it's compatible with it, more like one-to-one to your face when you're like looking at the device.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it basically makes it where people are like having a little bit more of a realistic representation of what's going on.
Mhm. Mhm.
That now, not everybody can get an iPhone, and there are some other alternatives, but um, that would be one of them,
Mhm.
and it makes it just easier for people to kind of not have to mess with the webcam and just kind of just interface directly with it.
Right. And especially if you've paid for a model that supports iPhone tracking, going
Yeah,
back to not using it just doesn't make any sense.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Like I'm just electing to not use it because I can't be asked to set it up because I don't have to stand for it. But
Fair enough.
um, yeah, it's just one of the things that was added, which is really good.
Mhm.
I know somebody else is making Spout 2 lately, and once that's done, it's going to eventually be added.
Mhm.
And we other than that, like there's been a lot of like other additions as well. Like I
Mhm.
found like various like plugins, various VTubing programs over the course of time. And I've even had people sort of complain like, "Hey, why is all this stuff on here if it's just for VTubing?" And I'm like, "Well, do you think somebody's actually going to want to go look this stuff up?
Mhm.
No, they're not. They want it right there.
Mhm. Mhm.
They'll look it up later. They want to see what's on the guide first."
Right, right, right. Yeah, and like, some of the stuff here, like art programs, aren't necessarily directly tied to VTubing, but makes sense to include here as it's
Yeah.
something that is like very much related.
Yeah, like the multi-suite programs in case people decide to write Google Docs.
Mm, mm, mm. So right now, do you think there's anything that is still obviously missing from the Linux side? Like anything where somebody might trip
Um,
up that they would probably, obviously, besides like anti-cheat and stuff that I already mentioned.
I would say like one of the things people are probably gonna end up tripping up on, and this is like for anybody, is basically just trying to get OBS set up in general because some OSs kind of interface with OBS differently.
Mhm.
Like for example, Pika OS, like yeah, you can use the native version, but it's actually worse than using the Flatpak. But if you're going to use something like Linux Mint, using the native version is just fine. So
Mhm.
like that's probably going to trip people up depending on the OS. And then you also have to go through flat sealed add permissions, environment variables to make sure certain things work. Like there's still that hurdle at least
Mhm.
people have to like sort of go through. And I do eventually want to like whenever I do get the test rig made, and I do want to like start making videos on like how to get this stuff actually set up from a visual point of view
Mhm.
instead of just like just text, because that's the thing that's missing is some people can read stuff, but some people are visual learners too, which is probably why people like the Linux Guide to VTubing series I've done so far,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
I'll have to make more of, like Pop OS and Bazite, when I was using Twitter, which we can discuss that in a minute after a bit on how I feel about that. I made posts like, and they both basically want me to make videos at that point, so that'd be good,
Mhm.
right? And so like, and just to show that it's possible to VTube on it.
Mhm. Mhm. I think with um with OBS, there's sort of two main issues with it. So problem number
Yeah.
one is when you are using the native package, you're going to miss out on the stream integration stuff, except for the distros like Ubuntu that have the official package. But if you use the
Or
Flatpak, then yes?
you can run it in X-Wayland and still get it on
No,
in
no,
every OS.
the browser windows.
Oh, oh,
Logging in with your Twitch account, so you can just automatically
oh,
get your stream key.
oh! I didn't know there was actually a difference with that.
Oh, okay.
I
That
thought
yeah,
I
that
thought
that
like uh
mhm.
okay.
that is the thing you can do. You can log in with YouTube or Twitch or Restream, and it'll just automatically wrap it for you. The problem with
Yeah,
the Flatpak, even though there is an official package, plugins, because
yeah,
if they're a Flatpak plugin, they work. But then if you want to use anything that is not Flatpacked, getting it to work is really awkward, and it's not officially supported, and it's in a weird location that's not like
yeah.
super well documented.
Yeah, you kind of have to like you could put it in the plugins folder and then do like the LD library environment path, but nobody knows how long that's going to work.
Yeah.
There might also be a way to put it in the files folder if it exists, but yeah, it's just they need to fix that. That way
The
people
devs
can use
explicitly
native
said it's not
plugins.
supported, so that it's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, it's not gonna happen apparently, but hopefully there's like always that solution
Mhm.
to get past it.
Yeah, yeah, I hope, but I don't know. We will see what happens
Yeah,
with OBS. Most of the plugins that I use are supported, and the thing with this is another thing, right? The more people
yeah,
that use Linux, the more plugins are going to be flat packed.
oh
So
yeah,
it's a problem that exists because there's not that many users, but when there are more
yeah.
users, you're going to see more people building their plugins to work properly on Linux.
Yeah, and that's always a good thing because like people are starting to see that there's interest,
Mhm.
especially when you're having like big tech channels like the Toasty Bros also like kind of do Linux videos just out of the blue.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's like it's really refreshing to see stuff like that as opposed to when does this, when does that, when does this OS actually work?
Mhm. I would I would like to see a lot more like I guess in-depth Linux stuff from general tech channels. 'Cause a lot of the
Yeah.
Linux videos are like, I installed Fedora, I installed CashOS, I installed Bazite, and most of the videos end up being basically the same
Yeah.
thing. It's like, oh, getting Affinity work or getting a DaVinci Resolve working is kind of annoying. I can't use Photoshop. Oh, anti-cheat games. Oh,
Yeah.
just a lot of the videos tend to just blend together.
Or I've been on Linux for 30-day challenge and then they basically barely do any Linux things for about 15 of those days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I get it, right? I get it
Yeah.
why people make these videos, and they're good videos. I do
Yeah.
appreciate they exist,
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah.
when I see someone doing multiple of those videos, and that's like kind of all they're doing, it kind of goes into that it kind of starts looking like a lot of those older distro review videos where
Yeah.
it was basically just like wallpaper reviews.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like I guess like the main distinction with the videos that I make are kind of they're just tutorials where I walk people through how to use
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
specific OS. So it's like the Nix OS video. Oh my god, I had to like learn how to use that OS 4 hours before I could make the video.
Mhm,
And I had
mhm,
to reach out to Lace somebody else to like help me with stuff.
mhm,
It was
mhm.
crazy, but I got it working. Would I recommend the OS though? No, I would not. And if it was Gen 2, I definitely wouldn't because I couldn't get that shit installed.
Mhm, mhm. Wait, you couldn't install Gen 2? Wait, what did
Yeah,
you trip up on?
so I was trying to use an install script, and I was like, "Oh, they make an install script. Let me go ahead and do that." And you're like, "Oh, it's generally working." I go put my password in. Then it takes forever to install.
Mhm.
Like it just takes way too long.
Well, yeah, you're
So
compiling
like,
everything.
yeah, and then I wake back up and it's installed. I'm like, oh, let me see, like what this is. And I go to log in. It's like, why is my password not working?
Mhm,
Why is my password not working? I know this is the password. It was simple as it was a really simple password,
mhm, mhm,
and it wasn't working. So I go to install it again. I'm like,
mhm.
okay, let me try something else. Let me try a different password. It wasn't working at all. So it's like, what am I doing wrong? So I was like, I'm just gonna make the Nobara video instead.
Fair enough. To be
Yeah,
fair, most people probably are not going to use Gen 2. Like,
yeah,
if you're using Gen 2, you probably already know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you probably know enough about Linux to take existing knowledge and then like get it ready on Gen 2.
yeah. Now, like to be fair, Gen 2 is faster than Arch if you can actually install it and use it, but most people can't. So that's why people use Arch. By the way,
Okay. Look, technically compiling packages in your own system is faster, but
yeah.
considering the amount of time you're going to lose compiling the packages anyway, like, yeah, maybe it's faster, and if you update overnight, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, just take a whole day off.
yeah, I'm good on Arch. I
Yeah.
am perfectly happy on Arch, and if I ever stop using Arch, I'd probably go to just Fedora or something, to be honest.
Oh, I thought about it too. Like if Debian was ever a thing, like if I didn't have, if I had issues trying to use like Debian unstable if Pika OS ever went down,
Mhm.
because I'm using Pika OS and it's like a optimized alternative for like Linux gaming and content creation stuff like that. I'd probably end up using like Fedora on one computer and Bazelite on the other one.
Mhm. Were you using PickOS last time I had you on?
No, I was on Linux Mint. Everything was on
Right,
Linux Mint.
right.
Yeah, I had switched because I wanted to get a different package set, and I also kind of wanted to get away from Ubuntu.
Mhm.
Recently, I found out that the LMDE version of Linux Mint lacks features. That's great.
I'm always so
No
confused.
PPAs for you.
That's because it's based on Debian and
Yeah,
Debian doesn't do PPA. It's you can okay, you can technically use PPAs on Debian. They're
yeah,
just completely unsupported.
yeah. But on Pika OS, you can use PPAs,
Mm-hmm.
and I think on Debian Unstable, if you configure it correctly, you can use PPAs. But yeah, my
Mm-hmm.
server is using Debian, so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." But it's
Mm-hmm.
using XFCE, and learning how to use Docker and Docker Compose was quite in networking through a double NAT was kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my
Yeah.
I I need to people keep sending me
Yeah.
emails like, hey, Brody, do you know a link on your website's broken? Hey, do you know this app that there's a link to? It now points to a random other website. I really need to go and actually fix up that site.
Did Socrates ever like email you back?
I did get a couple, and then he gave
uh,
up after that. I think he might still
uh,
be spamming on Matrix, though. I don't
oh,
know.
I see. I think it'd be funny if I got those emails. I didn't. It'd be entertaining. Give me. I have a public email. I mean,
Mhm.
we do that. I know you watched. I know you watched the videos.
They are they are some very interesting emails. I realized
Yeah.
after the fact that I actually missed a couple of them, and they were just as
Oh.
unhinged as the main ones.
Oh, it's crazy. It'd be entertaining though. It's like kind of refreshing.
Mhm.
Like like it's not threatening you. It's kind of like it's not threatening you directly. It's threatening you in a philosophical way.
or threatening you in a way that is just not gonna happen. 12 years of
Yeah.
eternal damnation. That was my favorite
Damn.
one.
Then the aliens are gonna abduct you,
Yep.
and then Doom Guy's gonna pop out and kill the devils.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So before we
Uh,
got sidetracked there, what brought you to PKOS?
Oh, so basically the thing that brought me to Pika OS is when I was going through the installer, because it actually happened when I was doing the tutorial video.
Mm.
So like the Linux Guide to VTubing tutorial video on my YouTube channel,
Mm.
I look at it and my reaction was, "Oh my god, this is great. It gives you everything that you could ever ask for. I mean, with just a couple presses of a button and then typing in your little password or long password, and then it just works. And then like you don't have to worry about it too much, and um it's just really good. It is a hobbyist OS, but it's still considered good. It's like along the same lines of Nobara. And their support Discord is something you should probably use if you use their OS, so you can like put in support requests. Because on the NVIDIA ISO, I found a couple bugs that I actually reported and they got fixed in like less than a day. Yeah, it's really good. I definitely I support the project. I mean, I'm like a Patreon supporter there, so it's good. Well, not I mean Ko-Fi supporter. I mean not
Sure,
Patreon.
yeah, whatever.
But yeah, I mean people need to support that OS because it's really good, especially since it uses Debian, which is very stable. Even though I mean Debian unstable is really stable in comparison to like a lot of things. And it's got optimizations that are great. Like it's got Falcon D, which is very similar to Tuned. And it's also got like the ability to take a look at your kernels, change your drivers. So you could change a bunch of things on it if you want to. It gives you really good out of the box experience. And I think it's honestly one of the OSs that are like actually perfect for VTubers, with the caveat of their native version of OBS on there probably should be changed to a flatpak. And it's out of the box because the flat pack genuinely just works better on it. And if I have to add like environment variables and explain how this needs to work on Linux Guide to VTubing, I may end up doing that later for Pika OS specifically. It could work for other OSs too, but it's just what I would recommend. There are some people who would opt to use Nobara, which is fair, because Nobara out of the box also has a bunch of good things. And it also has the additional thing of making it really easy to install DaVinci Resolve. So that's good.
Yeah, that is something a lot of people point to. Like I am happy with Kdenlive, but if your entire development workflow is built around, or your entire video editing workflow is built around DaVinci, it's hard to move away from DaVinci. Yeah. And if you're not going to use DaVinci, there's not really another good option on Linux unless you want to do like Lightworks.
There are a couple actually, because I listed them.
Okay.
So there's Affinity on Linux because Matt's creative. And
okay, I mean like natively supported, because DaVinci is native. Yeah.
Okay. Flowblade, Shotcut, OpenCut, they're basically like Windows Movie Maker in Sony Vegas.
They're kind of like, they're okay. They're not great, but they're okay.
Kdenlive is like the closest to Sony Vegas you're ever gonna get though, and honestly, I love that because because when I was like first using it, I was like, how do I use this? Like, oh, it's the same stuff basically. Oh, I can edit videos still. Good, and it's free. It's even free for Windows users if you're still stuck on that OS.
And of course, you have Lightworks.
Microsoft's basement. Yeah,
most people aren't going to be using Lightworks.
I mean, maybe if you're using Puppy Linux.
Sorry, what? Wait.
Maybe if you're using like a Linux distribution that's like can't use Kdenlive for whatever reason.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That'll be weird.
I'm trying to find a rational reason.
No, Lightworks is a great tool. It's just not something that most regular people are going to use.
It's still an option.
It is an option.
Yeah. Yep, and that's the great thing about like FOSS software in Linux. You always have that option. It's always good stuff. It's always like, oh, I don't like this certain thing. I don't like this distribution. Let me try this other thing. And then they become a distro hopper, and then eventually they land on an OS, but they keep hopping on distros because they like doing them.
I think distro hopping is one of the. It's kind of a weird thing where people are swapping distros to solve a problem that oftentimes they
Yeah.
don't need to swap to solve, but they're
Yeah.
just looking for something where the problem just doesn't exist out of the box. And for some problems you can find solutions to that. Like some distros handle the installation of NVIDIA drivers better, but sometimes I think people are just like moving for the sake of moving.
Yeah. I mean, you could use something like BlendOS to stop distro hopping, or you could do what Traffleton does, because I was on Traffleton's stream talking about stuff before, where they run Bazite and then they use DistroBox, which is actually a really solid solution for a lot of things if you want to install stuff, because if DistroBox is in a Flatpak and they do a version update, well, it's all going to be in that Flatpak still. It's not going to be removed.
One thing we kind of jumped over was, so the Steam Deck came out like 2 or so years ago now. This year, the Steam Machine is going to come out. We don't know what pricing is. There was some like rumors that came out. Less rumors, more of a. I think it was a Czech retail website that they had some prices listed for a Steam Machine, but Valve doesn't sell through that site officially, so that would be like they had prices set up for like secondhand market stuff. So now a lot of people are running with those prices. Let's see if we can actually find what they were. Steam Machine leaked price. 950 for the 12 gig model, 1,070 for the 2 terabyte model. Again, these are weird numbers, and they're like currency conversion prices from a third-party reseller.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like the way things are headed right now with like GPU prices skyrocketing, the RAM shortages happening.
Who even knows where RAM is right now?
I mean, there's a good deal on RAM for like $80 for like 2666 megahertz RAM. It's still cheaper than getting 3200. It might be able to boost clock for 3200 though. I mean, you might want to take a look into that, but it's not good. And I kind of like, I think like if the Steam Machine does go up, it's based off the RAM price alone, because everything else would have already been paid for. If Valve was cool, they would take a loss on it and still make a lot of money off of it. And Gavin can still buy his yacht. It just won't be as good.
Yeah, I'm looking at 64 gigabytes. In Australia, it's anywhere from like $1,100 to $1,700. I don't know what USA pricing is, but like probably around $700 for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, to be fair, like if somebody wanted a second computer to stream on, like some people do this too, like where they run Windows as their gaming computer and they use Linux as their streaming computer because it's very stable, because they don't have to worry about Windows Update crashing their computer or OBS being bad, because honestly, OBS is better on Linux than it is on Windows most of the time. Sometimes it's bad though, so you can roll back, but most of the time you have less issues on Linux than you would compared to Windows, from what I've noticed.
I don't know. I started streaming on Linux, so I can't really comment on that. So
I was streaming on Windows prior to this, all the stuff, and like it was bad. Like whenever they did an update, something would break on OBS, and then well, I go try streaming on Linux, and it's like, I'm not having that many problems. There might be like plugin issues every now and then, but if you have an issue, just roll back to the last Flatpak you were using or last version of the native package you were using.
Well, not just that, you just don't have to deal with randomly you're streaming and then Windows like, hey, Windows update time. Enjoy.
I like to own my computer, not my computer to own me.
No. No, you don't want that.
Yeah, you're right. I don't. I want my computer to own me. You're right.
Absolutely. Yep. That's exactly how it should be.
I need to sign into my Linux account and activate Linux right now. I need to do that. I need to make sure that they take all the information from me, and I pay $114 per year for each individual OS upgrade.
Does anyone actually pay for Windows? I'm sure someone does.
No.
I'm sure businesses do, and
Yeah.
that's basically it.
Businesses have to, yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like WinRAR, where
Yeah.
like WinRAR actually is a really successful like software, like how much money it's made,
Yeah.
but it's literally just because of businesses and like audits and stuff like that.
I mean, to be fair, on WinRAR's, like, in WinRAR's defense, they do sell merch, and
Well, that's a more
people
recent
do
thing.
actually buy that. Yeah. What I don't understand is why people don't use 7-zip. It's free, and it does everything WinRAR does, except you don't have to, like, do anything. And then on Linux, you can use pzip, which is basically...
Oh. Hello? Discord? Hello? Discord? Right. I don't know what happened.
just 7-zip repackaged. Oh, you froze.
I
I was
did.
like, what? Hello.
Okay, we're good. I was just about to restart Discord.
I saw you, like, sitting there. I was like, oh, was there something I said?
Oh, it froze again. What? Discord, what are you doing? I was having problems with it earlier.
You're just smiling, just like, oh no.
I'm gonna restart Discord. Give me 1 second.
If you have issues, use Vincord.
I Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Hopefully no more Discord crashing.
Honestly, I'd recommend like installing Discord Canary in Vincord just to have it.
Yeah, I do have Canary installed.
I use a regular Discord client in Canary. I just have Vincord on the computer just to have it.
I don't know. Maybe it's time to try out Vincord. I don't know. I heard about it for a while.
Yeah, it's really good, but like there's always risks involved. You know.
Yeah, Discord's been weird. Like they were weird in the past about third-party clients. I haven't heard anyone getting banned in a while. So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could do a similar thing RuneScape did with RuneLite and just approve it.
Yeah, the main problem though is they want to. The reason they have issues with a lot of digital clients is they will add features they want to sell as part of their like premium thing. So whether that be like custom profiles or maybe they want to sell like themes or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It is really bad
right now. Is your computer dying?
No, it's probably fine.
Huh.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah. I can swap over to the web client if I need to.
Yeah, I mean, or you can like use different thing. But
maybe.
Like did you ever resolve your CPU problems?
So not resolved yet, but I know what the problem is, and the problem is going to be resolved. So I did take the system to a technician. He tried the CPU in his own system, and there was no issue with the CPU. So it's the motherboard that is faulty.
Okay.
Yeah. So it could have been a worse problem, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Either way, it's under warranty, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
But I would like to use that system. That would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be good. Are you currently on your old system?
Yeah, still on that one. Just waiting on the new motherboard, and then I'll be on the new one. So probably next weekend.
Ooh, that sounds good. By like hopefully the middle of the week I'll have like a PC upgrade, and then I won't be buying anything for the rest of my couple months due to other reasons that I don't want to discuss. But yeah, like outside of, like the whole Linux guide improving over time and people like showing support for that, because like I had people make comments like I really like this, and they reach out to me, tell me thank you over the course of all those months that I've been doing it, which I'm still going to be doing it. It's really good, and I just want to make sure people like have that alternative as
Mm.
opposed to being stuck on Windows. Because a lot of people are stuck on Windows, and the more people that decide to use Linux, they'll be less stuck, and they'll
Mm.
be more, you know, there'll be basically a better understanding of how to do things like that.
Mm.
Eventually, what I want to do is I want to make a separate, like, I don't know if it's gonna be like a separate guide, or I mean, I might have to be. Is if FreeBSD ever gets some good things happening, I could probably start adding stuff to that and make that its own thing. But I've yet to decide on that.
Mm. You would need to solve the gaming problem on FreeBSD for anyone to realistically care. And
Yeah,
I think you can do a little bit of gaming over there. It's just the BSD world is the BSD world.
the BSD world is like another layer.
Yeah, yeah.
You got Windows, Linux, then BSD.
I think just having stuff outlined for at least the main distro bases that people
Yeah.
use, I think is a good position to be in.
Oh yeah, that's always it's obviously like good. Like I basically already covered basically every major distro.
Mhm.
As far as like what they're based on.
Mhm.
I just want to do more videos at some point.
That's fair.
Like, yeah, it's just what I want to do because again, more people want to see that. I know, of course, but like, yeah, it's definitely something that I need to be done. Lately, I've been getting into web development more,
Mm.
and I did a recent update to my website, and I even have
Mm.
another website besides that. And when you take a look at KyloNeko.net, you're going to notice it looks a lot different, and
Mhm.
it's very Cameron's World inspired. Um, which I took a look at the GeoCities site, and I started taking a look at GeoCities sites, going like, I love this stuff. This is what the internet used to be.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
internet had personality to it, like, and then Yahoo decided to say no, so NeoCities stepped in, and then they decided to keep it going.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
looking at Cameron's World, like looking on that website alone, is very interesting 'cause it's got a lot going on, and it basically forces you to discover things.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Now you might be wondering, oh, where's my old website? Well, you can still find it. Um, it's like you'll still see the old site if you're able to find it, and it's easy to find. I would think you just gotta click on like the emote at the bottom, and it'll
Oh.
take you to the old one. Yeah, it's the emote. It looks like NecoArc. Then it will take you to the old site.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I still wanted to at least keep that. And then I
Mhm.
also
Mhm.
have like some web rings for other people who've making their NeoCity sites and another VTuber site for Orange is Orange. So like I think that's really cool.
Mhm. Mhm.
And learning HTML is definitely something that people should be doing more, especially now since we're dealing with like I don't know Twitter being shit right now.
Mhm.
So like, um, yeah, it would be really good for people to kind of like do that. That way they have the way they can like share their art, share their posts, make their own blog like I made. Learn how certain things work. Even if you do use like a template for it,
Mhm.
it's really good. And I think more people should be getting into that, especially with like resources like the HTML cheat sheet and W3 schools. And eventually I do want to make like I want to add sound as well as like have like a moving part of a background at some point. Like I'm still
Uh-huh.
learning things.
Uh-huh.
Get that full GeoCity experience.
Actually bringing you back to the 90s. No, I think it's a
Yeah.
good thing that more people are, at least some people are interested in like actually having their own site, because that was the way things were. This idea of
Yeah.
everyone just being on these like core websites, just that's a relatively recent thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's been a thing now for like 15 or so years, but that's not how the web always was, and it doesn't have to always be like that. You can have
Yeah.
your own personalized presence on the web.
Yep. And there's also sites like Space Hay and kind of like give yourself a MySpace clone.
Mm-hmm.
You got NeoCities. There might be a fork of NeoCities as well somewhere. But like these sites exist so you can make a website without having to pay like the Squarespace fees. You can make it for free if you want
Mm-hmm.
to. On HTML, you can get a lot of mileage out of 1 gigabyte. If you pay $5 to NeoCities, you get about 50 gigabytes, which is still a lot for that. So like you get a lot out of that, and I've definitely put the work I could around the time when I was doing my 2.0 reveal, especially with like this model here, my Neko Arc model, which like if you go on the website, there's a model showcase button that actually shows you all the models I put on here, except the PNGs, of like the low poly model, Neko Arc model, the model I'm currently using, and then the old models I was using. So like, there's definitely like a whole like model repository. They like show people like where things have sort of progressed in that front. Another thing I think like some people could probably get into is learn how to make their own server. And I've had a taste of that recently when I was making servers for Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate and 4 Ultimate on the 3DS. And I can't tell you where to get that stuff, but you can do what you can, you know. But it's a really interesting thing because basically what it does is it caused me to learn how Docker Desktop works, and it learned me I basically had to learn how to make a Docker Compose file. I had to make it to where the OS is essentially on the press of a button will boot up Docker Desktop, boot up the containers, connect to the internet. And it just works. And now it's running through a thin client I just wasn't using, and it's just going to be on until it's until like a power outage happens or I turn it off by accident.
You're kind of be exploring a lot of random things on the side.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's good to have that experience because like Linux is like the beginning, and then it kind of puts you down a rabbit hole. You're like, oh, what else can I do? And you just start discovering, well, I could do a lot of the stuff on Linux actually, a lot more stuff than I thought I could do on Windows. Like I have a advanced or basic like an intermediate understanding like when it comes to like computers in general. Like I know how to take them apart. I know how to like mess with software. I know how to do like tweaks and everything. But like Windows, I mean for the Windows, sure. I used to do Windows. Linux is definitely like something that definitely kind of opens your eyes to like what the possibilities are, and you're not like stuck.
Yeah, once you have
Really
that power,
good.
like you might as well just
Go
might as well
all
just see
in.
what you can do with it. Yeah. But like at the
Yeah,
same
it's just
time, for someone who doesn't want to do
yeah.
that, who just wants to, use their system and just be done with it, like
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to use your system and just be done with it, there's like actually tiers on what I believe are what people can use. So like first you have something like Bazite, which is basically base level OS, play games, surf the internet, maybe stream. Nothing super, difficult, at least out the gate. Then you have, if you want something a little bit more personal but still simple, you have Linux Mint and Zorin OS. Linux Mint and Zorin OS are distributions that kind of guide you on what you can do, but they still kind of give you everything. But they're also built on older package sets, so you're not like on Wayland, but you are still at least given enough room to learn things if you want to learn stuff. And then you have Pika OS, Kashi, and Nobara, which is basically like everything before that, where it's like easy to use, has its own package sets, but it's more up to date. You get more up to date packages. You're on Wayland. You still have room to learn things, but it also gets a lot of things out of the way that you don't have to worry about anymore. That way, it gives you more time to less time to troubleshoot things and more time to just kind of use it. And then if something does happen, it's not that hard to troubleshoot because at least in these discords, if you were to ask somebody from the dev team or ask somebody from the support team, they'll help you. They won't be like, oh, congratulations for joining Linux, but you're on the wrong OS. You should be using Arch.
yeah, you get a bit of that.
Yeah.
You get a bit of that in some places on the internet. That's
Oh yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and that's what people are like. I have some people like try to say, "Oh, we got to have a PhD to use Linux." Like, no, you don't. You could just use Bazite and just use it. You don't have to like learn how to code the whole. You don't have to learn how to code your wallpaper. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do what the gifts say and go, "Oh, I'm installing a web browser," and a million lines of codes happen. Like, no, it's like You go to Software Center and you type in uh, Zen, Brave, Chrome, or Firefox, and you hit the install button, and then you put your password in, and that's it. You're not like, oh, I got to type in terminal. Like a lot of these distributions nowadays, you do have the option for terminal because they want to make sure that you have that option.
Mhm.
You don't ever have to use it. You can use their package managers by looking at their names. You can use software centers. You can use Flatpak through the software centers itself too.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you don't have to do any of that at all. And so you don't need a PhD. You just need to know how to use a computer. And even if you don't, there's always Zorin OS.
I think Zoran's a neat idea. Like they
Ah,
really wanted to make a experience that was very familiar to Windows. I do think
oh yeah,
there's issues that come with that because when something is very familiar, you're going to expect it to work like the exact same way. So
yeah. I think
there's some
mhm.
concern with that. Like if there's any areas where it is a bit weird, then that stands out even more than using something you know is weird.
I think I think it needs to be familiar for people because if it's not familiar, they won't use it.
That's
Now,
fair.
if but that needs to be the preface that it's not going to be the same. Some
Mm,
things might work very similarly to it, but it's not the same, and people need to be aware of that.
mm, mm.
That yes, it's you want something similar out the gate because you'll see some people who have been on Windows for years and they go, oh, I like KDE and everything, but I started using Hyperlink and Neri, and oh my god, it's opened my eyes.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
you'll have people like that, or you have people like me who it's like, I just like KDE and Cinnamon. I don't want to use anything else. Maybe I'll use XFCE for like server tasks. It's really good for that actually. And like it's just really, it's just less of a headache you have to deal with, and you just kind of just use your computer
Mhm.
without having like that issue. Like it's not like, oh, I have to consult a dictionary on how to use my OS. Like, no, that's not always the case, especially with modernized distros with
Mhm.
optimized defaults. And I will always recommend optimized defaults for distros because this leaves people the open door of, oh, I don't have to do these 50 things, and it could just be done in one button.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I do think people tend to like overcomplicate the experience. A lot of people still like th- there's definitely distros where it does kind of feel like you have to do
Yeah.
everything yourself. Obviously, like Arch, to some
Yeah.
extent, Gentoo. Obviously, if you want to go something with like a Linux from
Yeah.
scratch, yeah, absolutely. But
NixOS. You always have to like. I don't know what else you can do. I have limited knowledge of NixOS, so don't crucify me in the comments.
mm,
But you have to go to a config file, and that's how you update your OS. Go to a config file, then you have to also get rid of orphans. That sounds horrible, but you have to get rid of like the orphans, and you're on the latest version of NixOS while getting rid
yes,
of all the old prior versions, so it doesn't eat up your disk space.
yes, you.
Yeah,
I can't say that. That'll get the video flagged.
you can type it to me. You can type me what you were feeling.
I was gonna say, I was gonna bring up,
Uh,
I was gonna say kill alongside the other word you said.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, you're gonna
Like,
do some hunting.
yeah, I don't think YouTube will appreciate that. It would just be like, oh yes,
Yeah,
that we'll just take that entirely out of context.
you can always edit it in post.
Yeah, that's an option.
Yeah.
Ah. So where do you want to go from here? Do you want to talk about Twitter stuff? Or do you want to talk about Monster Hunter?
Let's talk about Twitter stuff first.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Monster Hunter's pretty good, and that's a lot to talk about.
Mhm.
Uh, so Twitter. I
Mhm.
am done using Twitter at this point. I will only use Twitter on my alt account for YouTube and Twitch support because that's the
Mhm.
only way that you can get a hold of them. Um,
They technically
which
have their own
sucks.
support, which they don't
Yeah,
do anything with it.
but like I have a massive problem when it comes to AI stuff. Like there are certain things I can just kind of let pass. Like, if it's a tool like XR animator that I'm currently using, it's not like taking information from me. It's just using what's on my webcam and kind of translating it, which is
Sure.
fine. But if it's like or stuff like Neurosama, I mean that's just Vidal doing stuff in his basement or something. Just working on his own little project that's like self-contained, as far as I'm aware.
Mhm.
But like when you start having people like take AI art, and you start having people take music and start like defiling that stuff. Basically, in my opinion, like, and I made like a whole like Gen AI is a mistake video where now we're having a situation to where this has gone beyond just generating art and music.
Mm.
People are now taking pictures of women and children and making them do things they probably shouldn't be doing.
Mhm.
So I was like, do I want to be associated with something like that? In my opinion, like, yeah, there might be people there as well. And if you want to still use Twitter, that's fine. This depends on like what your tolerance is with that kind of stuff. But I'm just kind of done with that
Mhm.
because like I was just annoyed. So I thought about it like one day. I was like, do I want to like, continue to use this? Like it might be banned in the UK at some point, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong, but like this is where
Not
it's
yet, but
kind
I
of
know they
progressing.
are. There's definitely discussion of pursuing that.
They honestly should, because anyway, like at any point in time, like they have an AI, but the AI has no guardrails on it right now. It can kind of just do whatever. They might be able to like go in and like delete a bunch of things and clear out their media tab and have them like oh, I can't prompt that kind of thing and it changes the image. But then people will just find ways around it and still get it to prompt stuff. So it hasn't fixed the issue. The only way to really get that issue fixed is if you uh, get rid of Grok and you replace it with something else at this point, or if you just drastically change how it works, like make it to where it can't generate any images
Mhm.
until it's fixed. Because at that point in time, it's just like very much invasive on people. Like you'll have like somebody just taking a selfie, and you'll see like a couple comments down where it's no longer a selfie. It's very sticky situation that they're in. So
Mhm,
like
mhm.
not good. So like it's just something that I just don't want to do. And people might be going, oh, like you're gonna ruin networking and everything. That's not. No, I'm not. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on VT.social. I have a Reddit account. I
Mhm,
mean, Reddit's almost as popular as Twitter if you think about it. There's a
mhm,
lot of there's like a lot of subreddits, and yeah, there are AI subreddits, but you can always just ignore them. You don't have to join them.
mhm,
Like if you don't join an AI subreddit, you go to a different one. You don't see any of that stuff in there most of the time. So like it's more curated rather than just being out in the open for
mhm.
people to kind of just wreak havoc on. So like yeah, it's just not something that's good, and I feel like they're gonna have like a lot more problems down the line. I was like, I might as well just like cut it loose now, private my account. Like I'm not deleting the account, but I'm gonna private the account and just not use it
Mhm.
and just kind of just see what happens and just use the other socials I've been using, which is always good to like not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, you should always. I've always said you should have, regardless of what you like feel about Twitter, you should have accounts on other platforms. If
Yeah,
only just to reserve your name,
yeah,
but just to like it doesn't hurt to just cross post things.
oh yeah. And it's like even if you're not going to use a site like Kick or Rumble, just reserve your name. You don't have to use it after that,
Mhm.
and then just reserve your name. Um, but like yeah, it's a huge situation that they're in because they're going to end up facing a lot of legal issues. These people are going to argue, well, this is publicly declothing them or publicly making them look in a very derogatory manner.
Mhm.
And now they're trying to change their terms of service on the 15th, to where it's like if you continue using our service, um, you're not going to be able to participate in the class action lawsuit.
I hold up. Is this the one that? Sorry, there is some stuff that was actually like just misinformation. I don't remember
Oh,
exactly. Was that sorry? There's like
that
10
might have been
different
part of
things that
it.
were happening at the same
Yeah.
time. There was
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing where people were thinking a terms of service change was
Oh, yeah.
happening
Oh, I know
based
what
on
happened.
a Grok AI post, but you might be talking
Grok
about a
was
different thing.
hallucinating. Grok was hallucinating, but it's still part of their terms of service.
Mhm.
I might have to you might have to check it. I could be wrong. I hope I am. That if you use their terms of service after the 15th, you can't pursue it in a class action lawsuit against them.
Okay,
Regardless if
wait.
and if that's not the case, then you know I'm also leaving on principle alone, so I'm not having to deal with that AI bullshit.
Yeah, okay, so that specific thing, I've not like fully read through it, but it seems like there's no actual major TOS change. Granted, there's a
Uh,
whole manner of other changes. I knew that one sounded familiar. Um, if I recall correctly, that was entirely based on Grok AI saying a change was
yeah.
happening. Um, but at the same
Yeah, and that's
time,
the thing. Grok
you,
AI is actually bad.
mhm. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, go on. Oh my god, what is
I thought.
happening with Discord? Discord,
Oh,
stop
you,
doing
you
this.
said you froze.
Yeah, okay, sorry, say that again.
Yeah, so Grok AI is like actually bad. Like out of all of them, like it has like no. eh, it's like less. It hallucinates a lot actually.
Mm, mm,
It's just not good. It's very unreliable.
mm,
I still wouldn't use any sort of like Chat GPT interface because
mm.
honestly, they're all bad. And basically, they're fueling like. I mean, the RAM shortages were bad. Like, and then you got Nvidia and AMD going all in on it. So it's like not good for anybody. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, the Steam console is gonna save everybody because they're gonna be able to actually PC game. Let's be honest. But like, it's gonna be a lot difficult to get because it might cost a lot of money.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, look, the AI is weird thing. I understand wanting to leave Twitter because of it, but I think what needs to be remembered is just like whilst it is something built into Twitter, you're never
Yeah,
actually going to escape this AI tooling. Like, you can go to Blue Sky, you can go to Mastodon, your data is still being scraped, all of that art is still
yeah.
being added into these models. I see a lot of people thinking they can, like a lot of artists, for example, thinking they can leave Twitter, and if they go to Blue
You
Sky,
froze again.
then you.
Huzzah! Oh, yeah,
Uh, we good?
yeah. You're good. You're not frozen now.
Okay.
Oh, now you're frozen. Oh, no, you're not.
Okay. I was saying I see a lot of artists thinking they can just like go to Blue Sky, and that means their art is just not going to be added into one of these models, and that's just not how that works. Like,
Right,
if you're
but
posting it online, it is going to be on the internet. It's going to
but
be in these data sets.
even if it is being scraped, you're not giving it direct access to Grok,
Mm,
which is like a major thing because then people can't go and edit your image. They would actually have to go out of their way to download your image just to edit it, which is like an extra step for them, but it's
that's
not really
true.
great. There's also a site that I would recommend uploading art to. It's called Newgrounds. They are extremely anti-AI,
Hmm.
and they are amazing. They have been the best site ever,
Hmm.
and I hope people continue using it. Like Spidoru uses Newgrounds, and they've been on there forever. Like a lot of people have been on there. Like people from Game Grumps have been on there as well. And
Hmm.
I might end up using it at some point. But like uh, Newgrounds is like a great place to post art. Another place to post art would be your own personal NeoCities website. You can still use stuff like VT or VT.social. You still use stuff like Mastodon and Blue Sky as well. Even if they are getting hit by AI scrapers, it's not exactly giving you direct. It's not giving them direct access to whatever the terms of service are allowing for Twitter, because apparently anything that you post on Twitter is their content now, and at least what you posted, and they could do whatever they want with that apparently, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, of course, there might be some caveats, like my whole VTuber guide, probably got scraped by the internet already, but there's also a thing to where I have a license for it, to where it's like, oh, it could be used freely, you could change it freely, but you can't make money off of it,
Hmm.
because it's a community thing.
Hmm. This is AI is in this weird state where like a lot of these like licenses, a lot of frankly the existence of like copyright is
Yeah,
kind of being put into question. And it's not just something happening from this side. There is lawsuits happening from the music industry, but at the same time they want to be using it. And there's lawsuits from from like authors unions, but then some of them want to be using it. It's like all these different sort of like, this is something which I think is still going to be sort of discussed for the next like 10 or so years. This is not a problem that's going to be ironed out like anytime soon.
It's basically do as I say, not what I do.
Yeah, I guess in some ways.
Yeah. Like, I don't want you to do that to me. However, we're going to do it to you. So, good luck. Like, oh no, it's not good. So like, yeah.
With that being said, there are there are some people that are so irrational they don't even know what reality is anymore.
Oh my god.
Have you?
Oh no.
This was on. So there was a collab between Fortnite and Kizuna Ai announced.
Oh my god.
And the replies to it were hilarious because a lot of people have no idea who Kizuna Ai is because they started watching VTubers like during COVID.
Yeah.
They thought this was some like collaboration with an AI because they have no idea about their history.
So that's another thing that people kind of need to like understand. Like Neurosama doesn't help this. Even though it's a great project, it doesn't help this at all. There are people who actually think VTubers are AI. They think that I'm a machine. I'm a machine. Like I'm not a machine. I'm essentially a ventriloquist with the ability to use a model piloted detached from my hands into a virtual space to let people see it. That's basically what a VTuber is, a ventriloquist at that point, or a ventriloquist without actually having to learn how to use the skill. So, because we're all like piloting puppets at this point, like these are our representations. These are who we are. A lot of people will think that, oh, this is AI. Like Kazuna AI is not an AI. That is an actress, a voice actress that also had multiple voice actresses that eventually had the original voice actress come back.
Yeah, the whole big mess.
So like, yeah, it's just people just need like Quibblepop didn't help this. Like they actually used an AI.
Yeah,
which wasn't great.
That was a mess.
Yeah, another mess is where people started trying to gatekeep VTubing. Like, yeah, I understand burnt peanuts probably not in everybody's recommendations, right? You'll have people like get mad over, them winning the VTuber awards, even though they say they're not a VTuber. I mean, by definition, they are. But if they feel like they're not, and I guess it's okay to respect that. Any way you look at it, though, it's a lose-lose situation. They were shitting on VTubers to begin with, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like not amazing situation to be in when it comes to that. But like just like the Game Awards, the Streamer Awards, VTuber Awards, they're just like some VTuber Awards are actually like real and they mean things, but a lot of them just don't. It's kind of like just a hot dog measuring contest.
I remember back when Kizuna Ai first started, there were people because her shtick was she's AI. That was her like her lore. There were people that legitimately did think even back then that, and this was at a point where, for anyone who doesn't know, this is like what, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Like we didn't have the AI that we had back then wasn't even remotely close to what was even a thing a few years later. And people even back then were like, this is AI. How are you watching an AI YouTuber?
Oh yeah. Like you like honestly, I blame Cleverbot for being one of the first few things to exist on the internet. That's how the Chat GPT handles things, just like Cleverbot, except worse. Like, yeah. I'm good. Yeah, it's just Cleverbot's an old one for people if they don't know. It's basically people would have like relationships with this thing, and it would basically It's like not a detached process. It's actually learning from everybody that's typing at once.
Hmm.
So you could be typing stuff and it would already know like certain things during that session, and it's like,
Hmm.
oh, it's learning stuff. And in a way, like Cleverbot was kind of like a way to, I guess, kind of like pave the way for certain things, but like I feel like it was also kind of like at fault for it. Like it's neat for what it was worth at the time, because I
Hmm.
used to use it like just talking with it. I was bored one day on a weekend, but
Hmm. Hmm.
um, it's at least at the very least it's the OG,
Hmm.
so it's very limited. But yeah,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
is definitely one of the things you could blame for being the start of this AI stuff.
Well, with the AI stuff, it is a bubble, but I think
Yeah,
a lot of people misunderstand what like a bubble means. When the bubble pops, it's not like AI is not going away. It is here to stay permanently at this point.
yeah,
But what is going to happen, like what happened with the web, most of these like AI integration into every little thing. Like all of these random little AI companies, like Taco Bell AI drive-throughs, where like stuff like this where it just doesn't even make sense to be using the tech. It is just worse than like
yeah.
what already exists. Or I've seen something I saw recently and it was just so stupid. Um People were doing this. I don't remember if it was ChatGPT or some other custom model, some LLM based
Yeah.
model for playing chess. And like that's
Oh,
neat, but chess, like we've had machine learning models for chess that outperform people since the 90s.
yeah.
We don't need it like we don't need to do LLMs for every single thing. That's already a solved problem.
Oh yeah, it definitely is already a solved problem. And people are always like trying to solve things that aren't broken
Mm-mm,
as well, which isn't like always great.
mm-mm.
Like when you're having like Ubuntu moving over to Rust, like I mean it works fine on C sharp. I don't see what the problem is.
C
Like you
sharp?
just
C, you
I
mean?
think C plus plus, I think.
Oh, they're moving like pseudo and a couple other things over, and like the
Yeah,
GUI
they're moving a
toolkit.
bunch of stuff over. Honestly, they shouldn't have pushed it to that other update. They should just made it a separate ISO in itself. That way, once it's done, and they can kind of like have an easier way to integrate moving over instead of
Mhm.
like trying to mishmash code together and make it work, and then it doesn't work.
Well,
People
that's
have
why they did it
issues.
on a point release rather than an LTS version, just so if they need to
Yeah.
like roll things back, then they can easily do so.
Yeah, and besides, like, we don't need any AI. We don't need any like chess bots. We already have Magnus Carlsen. I think they're already pretty good. We don't. We can just hook them up to a computer, and they
Well,
could be the chat bot.
again, like the chess bots we have been outperforming
Yeah,
people for a long, long time now. Like that's people haven't been the best at chess for a long time. Like chess bots are so insanely good at this point that people learn new moves from them because they approach the game in a way that people wouldn't even think to approach it.
I mean they're essentially just task bots.
Mhm.
That's basically what they are. They're just a task bot. I mean, they're speed running the game, doing as much moves as they can in the littlest time. So it's like it's just really good for that. Um, yeah, people kind of just need to like maybe not rely on AI, because the problem that's going to happen is it's going to be like, oh yeah, like you will have a fridge, you will have a stove, you will have lights in your house. Like that's different, right?
Mhm.
But like people are going to start saying, oh, you will have AI in your life. Like you don't have to have AI in your life. I've had people go like, oh, it's the future, it's going to take over everything. And like it might take over a lot of things, but it doesn't have to take over your life if you don't want to use it. You should have the option to not use it.
Speaking
Um,
of AI and all the things, um,
Like I already hate it whenever I make calls
mm,
sometimes and I have to talk to an AI automated system, and you go to
mm.
say something, it doesn't even register your voice, or
Yep.
it's just bad. It's like you have to scream at it before it recognizes, oh, this person's mad and pissed off.
Mm.
Let's get a human, because I can't register emotions. So yeah.
Did you see from Razer Project Ava?
Project Ava, what is that?
You probably know it as the AI companion in a jar.
Oh, that thing that they were memeing before. like various people, like this was a meme before where people, didn't people already have like, is gonna be the second coming of like people having mental breakdowns? Because there was a thing before this where people had like anime waifus that they married and stuff, and all of a sudden they randomly disappeared one day, and they're
Mm,
like mourning their losses,
mm.
and because the service shut down. Well, this is gonna be a similar thing when the service ends up shutting down. Because basically, when the AI bubble starts popping, it's gonna be similar to how crypto and NFTs happen. It's
Uh-huh.
still going to exist, but people aren't going to be talking about it as much
Mm.
because it was bad. Nobody wants to use it.
But
Yeah.
don't you want Faker on your desk?
No, I don't. I don't. Yeah.
Don't you want
You're the
Faker
only fake
backseating?
hedgehog around here, Faker.
I am. Look, at this point, I am aware that I'm not changing anything, so I just
Yeah.
sit back and just watch the world happens.
The
Like,
world's gonna
there's no point
burn.
stressing out about it.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just kind of like worried about other people. Like I'm trying to get some of my friends to move over to Linux,
Hmm.
and one of them's kind of like partially doing it. Like they still use Windows 10, but they also have NixOS on their laptop, and they're like, "Oh, I really love NixOS." Like, thank God you love it. You
Hmm.
love something.
Hmm.
Oh
Hmm.
shit! Like, we played Sonic Road Blast 2 the other day, so like it was really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's cool. If you can get people,
Yeah,
if this is the reason that people actually move over, fine, I'll take it. That's cool.
yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, I guess you could say it's dog fooding, which I like. No, not a lot of people know what dog fooding means. You're testing it. You're trying to, make sure the food's warm, make sure it tastes right before you actually install it on your main systems. You can
Hmm.
kind of just install it on a laptop or like a small computer, spare thing, kind of learn how to use it.
Hmm.
Then you go like,
Hmm.
okay, well, I think I can actually replace Windows now. Let me go ahead and try my desktop and stuff, and other stuff like that. And we're also getting solutions like Winboat, which is basically another compatibility layer, even though it's like basically it's a container that uses Docker that is in a compatibility layer. Essentially, it's essentially a compatibility layer at this point, but it's also a VM
Hmm.
that you can kind of just run applications in, like Paint.net and Microsoft Word if you wanted to on Linux without having to actually install a dedicated Windows drive without actually also messing up anything on your Linux install.
I believe the main limitation with it right now, and I know that
Yeah,
they're working they're working on it, is hardware
yeah.
acceleration.
Oh yeah, they're definitely doing that because like they already started showing like some gameplay of like even though it wasn't great of
Mm-mm.
Megabonk. So like
Mm-mm.
if they can get hardware acceleration to work on it, there's a chance, it's a small chance, so ever so slight chance that a good chunk of those anti-cheat games will end up working on it. Now the kernel level ones
Yeah.
won't, but the regular anti-cheat ones will. And that's
Mm.
going to be a huge milestone. It's going to go from, oh, 7% of games don't work to, oh, 3% of games don't work.
Mm.
Hopefully. I hope at least.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least 93% of games do work, and honestly that's enough to get people to move. So
yeah, the main problem with the kernel level stuff is a lot of the kernel level stuff also does VM detection as well.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
even if you're running it in a Windows VM, a lot of the time it will still be like, "Hey, no, you're not. You can't run it like this. Sucks to
Yeah.
suck."
Oh, we've unauthorized access, can't access it, you're banned
Mhm.
from Valorant. Or if you install Windows 11 without a TPM enabled, you're banned anyways.
There was a
Uh,
another Tim Sweeney post the other day of him talking about how great open platforms are, and all of the replies were like, "Hey, so when are you bringing Fortnite to Linux?"
there was an account that basically looked like Tim Sweeney's account.
The fake
An
Tim Sweeney,
official
yeah,
person
yeah,
retweeted it before they unretweeted it. So they thought it was Tim Sweeney going, "When's Fortnite on Linux?"
yeah, yeah,
Like Tim Sweeney needs to add Fortnite on Linux anyways
yeah. Mhm.
because the closest gap that's going to be bridged right now is going
Mhm,
to be
mhm.
GeForce Now. That's going to be on all Linux platforms eventually,
Yes, they actually
and you'll
do
be able to
have. I did hear
play.
about that. Yeah,
Things like I think you could play League of Legends on it too. Um,
probably.
But you'll be able to play like Fortnite on it at least. But you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be doing it through cloud gaming, so your internet connection has to at least be kind of solid to do that.
Mhm.
Preferably fiber or gigabit or something like that. That way
Mm-hmm.
you can like receive the download and put the correct upload whenever you're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be an option, and I will try it. For things that are free, so I won't like knock it. But it's not a solution, right? It is. I mean, it is a solution. It's not the solution. The solution would be give us like a native version of the Epic Game Store,
Mm-hmm.
make it to where Fall Guys. I mean, Fall Guys does work, but like not officially. But Fall Guys, Fortnite, everything that's like core Epic Game stuff, make that all work on Linux. Do the same things that people on the Marvel Rivals team did when it comes to enabling stuff like Bazite for OS specific rules and stuff. Make sure it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
get flagged, and then make it to where it's secure. That way, there wouldn't be any hackers, and if there is any hackers, they'll just ban them. And like that's the problem with Apex Legends. Like the Apex Legends had people like, oh, we can't support Linux anymore. We got to move away from Linux. But then they still had like a larger spike in hackers because it's Windows users who are spoofing themselves as Linux users. That try to say that Linux users are the ones doing it when Linux
Mm-hmm.
users barely have any of the tools available to actually do that stuff. I know this because Ren tried to install mods on something and it didn't work
Mm-hmm.
with like cheat engine. Like cheat engine is basically one of the main things, or any sort of hacking tools. Like you wouldn't be able to easily do that on Linux unless you're like a mad genius at coding. And
Mm-hmm.
99% of the users who use Linux just for gaming don't know how to do any of that stuff. So I don't see where the train of thought Apex Legends had. I guess they were trying to mitigate something that didn't really need to be mitigated. It kind of pissed a bunch of people off.
Mm. Yeah, this is a problem
Yeah,
that again they will accept using supporting Linux when there's enough people on the platform. Like that, at the end of the day, that is the criteria. Because a lot of the time these games do support macOS. And
yeah,
macOS, in a lot of cases, they actually can't. I actually don't think macOS allows them to do kernel level anti-cheat.
they
But
do if it's built into the game. Because Riot has already done it with Mac.
I believe on Mac they actually don't. I think they have a different anti-cheat system on Mac.
No, I think it's Vanguard, but I think it's being ran like some sort of container to interface with Leak.
Maybe that's what it is then. But like
Yeah,
they will work out solutions in cases where there's
yeah.
enough audience to work out a solution.
Oh yeah. But
And I
which is
think
crazy because Mac OS barely has an audience as it is, considering how expensive it is. And you would think
mm-mm.
that they would add it to Linux, even though Linux would have like technically a better audience because it's free and open source, and the ability to download it is within the USB drive's reach.
Mm-hmm.
Do it now.
Yeah, but Mac's a weird one. Like when I was in
Yeah.
university, a lot of my professors only used Mac because to them Mac was the continuation of old school Unix.
I mean, I guess it could be. I mean, Linux is kind of like an off branch of that too, thanks to Mr. Torvalds for making Linux.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's like I always think like Mac OS is Fisher Price Linux because you can still do some Linux things on it. It does have a terminal to my understanding, and you
Yeah.
can install homebrew applications through homebrew or through brew.
Mhm.
So like you can do that still, and you have the option to just people have been rice their Mac OS desktops. I mean they could do it.
There's a
I
tiling window manager for it. A couple of them actually.
Yeah, and there's also a compatibility tool for it as well to run Windows programs. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think it's called it starts with a C.
Mac
Uh,
OS, Windows compatibility. What the
I forget what
hell
it's
is it called?
called.
Yeah, no, I remember it as well.
I remember
Crossover?
people in the Dark Ages Discord talking about it. Um,
No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. People know what it is.
yeah, you'll know what it is. But like, it's basically a compatibility. It's basically their version of wine,
Mm.
or bottles, and they can just kind of just run things through it,
Yeah, I
which
believe
is pretty cool.
if it's the same tool we're thinking of, I believe that was like a it was intended for developer porting. From what I remember, it wasn't. It was never intended to be like a consumer thing, but it worked well enough that people just started using it. But it might be something else, if possibly. God damn it, Discord! Why are we disconnecting again?
I don't know. Maybe
I
they
don't
might
know.
need your ID.
Oh yeah, when the ID stuff came in Australia,
Yeah.
thankfully they all every platform was like, yeah, you're an adult, so it wasn't a concern for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's called crossover. Makes sense.
Yes.
You're crossing over into Windows.
There was another one that I was thinking of. Crossover's been around for a while. I don't know. Damn, this fucking app, man. I hate this so much. I have not had this much. Like I haven't had this many issues with Discord in God knows how long.
Sometimes they just do it, and then
Yeah,
they're just lame for it.
I guess
I don't know
so.
what else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Yep.
It kind of just is what it is. I mean, your other option is using Discord Canary.
Maybe Canaries. I don't know. Maybe it'll be less of a
Canary's
problem.
kind of okay. Maybe. Or Vencord or whatever, or the web apps. Like you launch it via web app, and it just works that way too. But like, yeah, I mean, there's people have options for things, and some people just want to use Mac because Mac is like not a bad environment to like right now. If somebody had the option, if they didn't have Linux as an option, their other option would be Mac. And yeah,
What
you would have
about
to.
BSD?
Who uses BSD?
Exactly.
And then it says 0%. Nobody uses that. There's probably like one angry person like, I use BSD. What are you talking about? And then basically it's like it's really good for like video editing. The price you have to pay those, you're paying Adobe. So I mean, you can also get Affinity. So, I mean, kind of save money doing that, but yeah, it's just it's good for some workflows. I don't think it's good for everything. But it is still at this point in time, if you were to say Windows 11, Ubuntu, or Mac OS, I mean, it's still an option, and one of the better options would be at least Mac OS, like out of those three, for like people who use general use of their computer, who aren't VTubers, streamers, play a lot of games. Granted, there are games that do work on Mac OS through like their own store and through Steam that supports it, but it's not a lot in comparison to like Linux and Windows alone.
Yeah. Just use Linux. There's your solution. Just use Linux.
Or dual boot. If something absolutely has to work on Windows, get Windows 10 for the time you can, so you save yourself a headache. Get another drive, put like Bazzite on it or something like that if you're not trying to mess around with it, and just use both computers. You'll have a better time using Linux anyways. It has less overhead. I've seen people who had crashes on the Title 4 update for Monster Hunter Wilds. I have not had a crash yet. And there's certain mods you can put on there, like the decompression removal mod, that kind of makes things more stable as well. So it helps kind of make the frame timings good. So stuff like that is like, a better experience overall. Lately I have been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. And it's let me down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, go down the rabbit hole. Let's see where we go.
So I played a lot of Generations Ultimate, and I was like, oh, this is really great and all, but I kind of want to play 3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate. So I start getting everything going, and you have to do a lot of things for that. Like you have to, get the emulator, you have to obtain the game from your 3DS legally, and you have to also go into the files, change the web server API it connects to, and that's just to play on through a public lobby. If you want to host your own lobby, you have to make your own servers, And as I've explained earlier, you have to go through Docker, have your own dedicated system for that runs 24/7.
Mm.
You have to make sure the rooms are accessible. You have to make sure the room ID is good. You got to make sure like a lot of things are lining up correctly. You got to make sure you port forward, which I had to use, which I have a double NAT configuration, to
Mhm.
where I have a router emitting the Wi-Fi while the main router's in bridge mode. So that way it kind of can actually port forward things how it's supposed to be.
Mm.
That way I actually get my internal external ports that I need for stuff like Monster Hunter and for those rooms to be accessible to people.
Mm. Mm.
So like now I have the possibility of playing 3 Ultimate and 4 Ultimate online because it utilizes a LAN connection, which
Mhm.
the 3DS, where people used to actually go outside and touch grass, um, you'd be able to actually, meet up with people and play locally.
Mhm.
Other things have happened too, from what I've been able to get set up and get working. Monster Hunter 1 and 2 in Monster Hunter G, they all run on their own private servers and they
Mhm.
run through a native PS2 or emulator, and you have to go through a DNS service to get everything set up.
Mhm.
And once you get that set up, you get your account set up, you get logged in, you can start playing online with people. Like it was like the olden days, and I think like 2004 maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember when Monster Hunter 1 came out,
Monster Hunter
but
1 was 2004. Good guess.
okay, good, good. I didn't directly know that, but I know I saw it somewhere. Um, but like people have started doing that where they're playing online. Not only that, there's also services you can actually access through OpenVPN through specific servers
Mhm.
by accessing their specific like OpenVPN server when you do create an account through them to be able to also access Freedom, Freedom Unite, Freedom 2 online as well.
Mhm.
So there's even more Monster Hunter games you can play online. And then there's the other Monster Hunter game that not a lot of people know about, but they do, they play. It's called Monster Hunter Frontier, and those do have dedicated servers. And I have a guide that I made in one of their discords, um, in Renewal, on
Mhm.
how to actually get it working through Port Proton instead of having to push it through Steam, because I thought it was stupid to have to open up Steam every time to play that game. So it's really good. All those games are great. People who don't like Monster Hunter obviously won't play it. I think it's foolish to compare it to Dark Souls because it's not the same thing. Dark Souls is also really cool in its own right. I love Dark Souls and Souls games, but Monster Hunter's lately been my thing. And um, this month we're supposed to be getting a title update for. I mean, we already got title update for. We're supposed to be getting an optimization fix for PC.
Oh.
That way, it helps make things run a little bit better. Because right now, there's a fix where it makes things run pretty good, but we want to make it run better.
Mm.
So hopefully they drop that update, and then um, you still have also the possibility of playing World, and you also have the possibility of playing Rise still, and I guess Generations if you have a Switch. So there's a lot of options for Monster Hunter, and they're all really good.
Part of me wants to go back and try out one just to see, because I know the original controls for one are
Yeah.
like very rough. For anyone who doesn't
Well,
know, you
yeah.
attack with the analog stick,
Yeah. So
which
it's
is
basically when you attack with the analog stick, it's supposed to simulate like you're doing a swing.
yeah.
So it's like there's that, but there's also a mod called Monster Hunter, and this is the Japanese version of the game, which are objectively better. Is the translated Japanese version of the game,
Mhm.
and you get the plus mod along with it. It gives you the PSP controls.
Mhm.
Hell, this happened. Okay, I'm good. I need to get something doing.
Okay. You alive?
Yeah, I'm alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does the PSP controls change?
So basically, the PSP controls changes it from having to do the sword swings on the buttons. On the stick to the buttons.
Mm.
On how basically it would work. It basically gives it since there's enough buttons on the PS2 controller, it just gives it the PSP layout,
Mm.
and then the right stick is like the camera.
Oh, so more akin to every other
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Basically, it makes it more like the portable games.
Right. Okay. So not so, like I've seen someone play the like I can only imagine how it felt to actually play that game originally. But one thing I do
Yeah.
think is, well, part of the reason I do kind of want to go back and play some of the older games is in world you feel like you're pretty strong pretty quickly. Like
Yeah.
the first hunt, you're already taking down a large monster. In the
Take it
first
down.
game,
Yeah.
aren't you like fighting some fucking lizards in the first mission?
Yeah. You're fighting like every portable game always starts out with, oh, let me go ahead and fight a Velocidrome,
Mhm,
a Gendrome, a Great Jaggy, stuff like that.
mhm,
The world does kind of do something similar, but you kind of get a Royal Ludrith knockoff to fight instead.
mhm,
So it kind of just does that, which isn't like ideal. Like yeah, it's cool and everything, but it's not like how Monster Hunter was doing it, where they start you off with fanged wyverns, and then
mhm,
they get you to fanged beasts, and they kind of like progressively make things harder until you have to fight the penis monster, and then the Giganox as well.
mhm,
So, which that'd be Kezu. So yeah, so like you have like all this progression, and playing the older games kind of gives you a little bit more perspective. Like as you're playing like the games,
mhm,
Monster Hunter has definitely changed.
mhm,
So it has went from this hunting and gathering gameplay loop to mainly just hunting and
mhm,
then some gathering. Wilds definitely is at fault for this. World's at fault for this. Rise is at fault for this. Like those three games are. And Generations is partially at fault if you get the DLC,
mhm,
like the free download for it. But like the other games kind of just encourage you to go out and search, gather, get everything going, and then if you could somehow manage to get through Monster Hunter 1,
mhm,
you get through low rank and high rank. Well, when you get to Monster Hunter G, which is the expansion, because back in the day they didn't release updates, they gave you a whole nother game.
mhm,
Um, and Monster Hunter G released on like the PS2 and the Wii, which that was a whole different situation with the Wii, 'cause it was like a precursor to Tri coming out.
mhm,
Um, But like when they move, like you can move your save over
mhm,
from Monster Hunter 1 to Monster Hunter G, and then Monster Hunter G to Monster Hunter 2 DOS, I think.
mhm,
So you get that at the very least, and it's a really cool experience to have when you're playing the older Monster Hunter games,
mhm,
because Monster Hunter 1 and 2 and G, well, they're a completely different game in comparison to playing like their improved ports, which was Freedom, Freedom 2, and Freedom Unite,
mhm,
because they made those games a little bit more streamlined, where it's like less like you start out with more weapons in your box. You get,
mhm, mhm,
there's less issue with quests trying to complete them. The completion requirements are not as great as like they like not as bad as they used to be.
mhm,
And it makes things like a lot easier to actually go through the games with. Now, I do encourage people to still play the originals and then play the portable games, because they're technically different games.
mhm,
Um, in 3 Ultimate's case, since it is based off Tri and Portable Third, it's like its own unique game as well. Because Tri had the city of Loklak, but Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate had the city of Marina.
mhm.
So yeah, you kind of gain and lose things there.
For anyone who has no
Yeah.
idea about Monster Hunter, you're just saying words.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people will get it.
Yeah, I personally I've only played World, and I've never got around to finishing Iceborne, but
Yeah.
that's basically where I'm at. I do want to play more Monster Hunter. It's just they are games that you can really put a lot of time into.
Yeah. One of the games that kind of respects your time the most would be Rise,
Mm,
because the hunts are really short, the
mhm,
progression is really fast,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
and the story's not very long, and the hub quests don't take that long if you're playing with people.
mhm,
So
mhm,
it's really fun, and that's basically a good thing to get somebody into the series.
mhm,
And then I'd say Wild, and then World, because World's more like this slow, methodical game. You got to see the environments. It's more like, yeah, the gameplay is good, but they also want to show the graphics at the time to be
mhm,
also really good. And this was like an intentional thing, because whenever you're looking at the monsters, like instead of them just waddling around and Rise, just existing, they're kind of just like living in the environment.
mm, mm,
You see
mm.
how they interact with the environment. They'll kind of do things without like even being provoked to do it. So that's interesting. And Wilds kind of brought that back a little bit, which that's like the main distinction between like the portable games and and like the worldish games.
Mm.
Um, like this is the point where like realism kind of like works in its favor because it makes the monsters more interesting and the more of a lore instead of a boss rush fest of
Mm.
monsters you just run right through and just kind of do stuff. I'd say probably maybe one of the exceptions to this would be um, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate with like the underwater sections. Like a lot of people didn't like the underwater, but it also added a bunch of things that the other Monster Hunter games kind of lacked,
Mm.
which it was brought back in Wilds for at least the monster. So that's good. Hopefully they make a whole expansion based off of it.
Mm.
I would like that. It'd be cool to bring back a bunch of like bring back Cadius from 3 Ultimate, bring back Dire Morales. I mean, you're already brought back Gosmazios. You have Gormagala. Like you're well on your way to like add a bunch of monsters. I mean, at some down along the line, I could see them adding White Fatalis as well, or even Crimson Fatalis. So,
Mm.
I mean, they have a lot that they can work with.
Yeah, I do actually have I think I do have Rise on Steam. So I know that you've we do need to get around to actually
Oh
playing some
yeah,
Monster Hunter at some point.
oh yeah, we definitely do. Like, I think I'm like only like I have like a character that's like on like maybe the be like almost done with the 4-star quests, I
Mm.
think. So like it wouldn't take long to get you up to that because
Mm.
I mean 1 to 3-star quests are like basically nothing, but
Mm.
the bulk of the game is like G rank and high rank for stuff like that, and
Mm. Mm.
it'd be really fun. They have like a lot of cool monsters in there. Um, like they even have a dragon that's basically Dracula, which is really cool. So that'd be a really cool thing for you to look at.
Mm. Mm.
Um, as well as like a bunch of other things. So that's like so it's really good game.
Mm.
People gave it shit for no reason, but it's actually really good in hindsight in comparison to Wilds.
Yeah, I think when Wilds came out, a lot of people looked back and was like, "Wait, huh?
The only caveat to Rise is the spirit birds.
Okay,
That's the only caveat because you have to run around and grab spirit birds to get your full maximum potential.
right."
So the only way around that is if you really wanted to, you can get a prism spirit bird at the start of every quest
Mm-hmm.
through a mod if you wanted to do that.
Right.
You don't have to do that, but it really just depends on who you're playing with and what you decide to do.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
But regardless, I mean, most of the time you wouldn't even need that. So it's a good game to be in general.
Mm.
The only distinction, the only thing I kind of want them to bring back in Wilds is there's a thing in Monster Hunter Frontier that there's multiple things actually. I want them to go beyond like G rank or master rank. I want them to go to Zenith.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another game that had Zenith ranks. Frontier had Zenith ranks.
Okay.
And if they could bring some monsters back from Frontier, um, like some like the armored Tigrex or the unknown version of the dragon or some stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
some of the more wacky monsters you could fight in that are like not really in the main series. Um, it'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can also ramp up the difficulty for people, because people were at the beginning of Wilds was like, oh, this is easy. Like, well, you're playing through low rank. You're playing through a required story.
Right.
By the time you get to high rank, they're gonna start adding tempered monsters. They're gonna start adding other things as well, and it's gonna be a lot harder. Like people are already getting clapped by Omega Plantes all the time
Mm-hmm.
because Final Fantasy 14 moment and Gogmazios as well. So like people are already saying that the game is getting harder now.
Mm-hmm.
Why not ramp it up to 11? And after you add G rank, add another expansion on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
and add Zenith rank monsters to where the Zenith monsters look different
Mm-hmm.
visually, and they have different move sets, and they're harder to fight, but they're really cool. And I guess like the only like example of this, like what a Zenith rank monster would look like, is if you're fighting Kushaladora.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tooth Karoth. I mean, in Monster Hunter World, that monster cannot die. You can only repel it, and it is one of the more bulky monsters to fight. And and it hits really hard whenever it does hit you. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's really good stuff. Or
It is.
Zafi Jiva as well.
It was funny when I was hearing people talk about Wilds being easy. Like, World is also really easy
Mhm.
until you get to Master Rank. Like,
Yeah,
low and high rank, and they were not difficult. Like, yeah, if it's your
yeah,
first Monster Hunter, of course, going through, like, you're gonna get clapped by, you're gonna get clapped by a Great Jugras. You're gonna get clapped
yeah.
by Rathalos. But once you get used to it, like, by the time I was, like, I think from, like, Rathalos, what's the guy, what the spiky boy with the dive bombs? No
Betelgeuse.
Gigante.
Oh, no Gigante. Yeah,
Like no from like Rathalos to no Gigante, like most things are pretty easy. But then like when you go through high, like all that stuff, like that's fine. It's not until like you go into like Iceborne that world actually
yeah,
becomes difficult. And
yeah.
why like I presume most of the Monster Hunter games are pretty much like that. Like low and high rank
Oh yeah,
are obviously the older games because they had a lot more things you had to like worry
yeah.
about, but the actual difficulty of the game doesn't start until the actual like end part of the
Yeah,
game.
like the modern Monster Hunter games, the like the mobs or the like the ads, they
Well,
kind of
especially if you
just
played
don't.
World with the the easy mode gear.
Oh yeah, yeah. That that's just to get you the Iceborne.
Mhm,
I have no issue with the easy mode gear. I mean, I guess it kind of works to kind of get people going.
mhm,
I do think that they should the easy mode gear should actually just be a reward for completing low and high rank. Like
mm,
you should get a reward for like, oh, here's your defender gear for completing low rank. Here's your guardian gear for completing high rank.
mm.
Uh and you can now use this in Iceborne or whatever.
Right.
And like it should be a reward, not out the gate. But I can kind of understand why Capcom does that, because not everybody gets the game on release, and they kind of want to catch up with their friends,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
have to use that gear to catch up with their friends to play through things faster. So that's good, I guess. I don't really have any issue with it. Some people do. I mean, I use it as well if I want to like play the game just to get things going quicker.
Well, yeah,
Because I'm
if
gonna be
it's a
honest,
second
World's
character,
kind of
that's
slow.
different.
Yeah, World's kind of slow, and plus I've already played it on the PS4 the entirety of like the base game,
Mm,
so
mm,
I really don't have to really worry too much about that. Same thing with Rise. I've played the entire base game on Rise on the
mm.
Switch, so like if I want to use the Defender or Guardian gear, I'm going to, so I can just get my Nargacuga stuff again, or get my Devil Joe stuff again, like
Mhm, mhm,
stuff I kind of like actually want to use. So like it's just like temporary
mm,
that
mm,
point.
mm.
What they should do for Wilds is basically what I said, though. It should be rewards, not out the gate. Like, oh, you completed the story.
Mm.
Here's Defender gear. It's slightly better than all your. It's better than all your low rank gear, but still worse than all the high rank gear you're gonna get.
Right, so
Complete high
like it
rank.
gears you up for high rank.
Yeah, it's basically like a middle ground. And then like if you get like, oh, you complete high rank. Well, here's your middle ground to meet G rank. You use
Mhm.
this gear to get your other gear, and then you get G rank gear that kind of surpasses it. Like
Right,
after you
right.
do like a couple hunts. So like that's what they should be doing. Um, in the older games, they didn't do that, which is actually good. But it didn't really get people into the game as much. Uh, especially like when you're doing stuff like that.
Mhm.
In Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, they didn't give you any armor. What they did is I mean, they didn't give you a bunch of armor. You still had like all the starting stuff. But if you did the download stuff, which like every Monster Hunter game does,
Mhm.
you can get like additional resources without having to like farm for things and just kind of just run through the game that way too.
Mhm, mhm.
So like there's that at least, you know.
When it comes to Wilds, how is the performance doing now? Because that was the
Oh,
biggest problem the game had.
the performance is actually really good. That game is actually built around FrameGen.
Hmm.
Um, people like you could play the game without it, but you're not gonna hit 60 as easily just yet.
Hmm.
Um, you gotta use FrameGen, and turns out the way they're doing FrameGen is actually lowering the CPU percentage
Hmm.
while giving you more frames, which is okay. I mean, this is probably like the only instance of like AI I would probably like say is okay. If it's improving how a game works, it's okay, but it shouldn't be the solution all the time. I think in Capcom's situation, they were having so many problems with Wilds optimizing it
Mm.
on launch that they released it in a terrible state and they relied on people using FrameGen.
Mm.
That
Mm.
is what I think happened. And now they're going to fix it because there's less issues on PS5 and less issues on Xbox now.
Mm.
And they might be gearing up for Switch. And if they want to fix it for Switch, they might end up using the PC port as a base.
Mhm.
So that's why they made the announcement that the update's going to happen, hopefully pretty soon, for like the further optimizations, which would be really good. And then there's also a thing you can also do where you can decompress the textures to have it run through like RE framework or RE framework.
Oh, it did it again. God damn it.
Like that makes it so the game runs a lot better.
Yeah.
And you have better frame times, so it's not going to have so many dips. But you still have to be on frame gen because that game is just bad in that situation. But it's a lot better than what it was. Like I'm not getting crashes. It's not causing my whole computer to freeze. It just works.
Yeah, when the like beta open week, whatever it was before the game came out, I did the first hunt and my entire PC
Oh
died.
yeah, that I did the same thing happened to me. I did the first hunt, killed the Chotacabra.
God damn it. God damn it. Why is Discord doing this?
Oh, this is like it's frozen. Yes, it is.
Yeah, you
Discord
said
is
you
giving
killed
me
the
the wild
Chotacabra
treatment.
and then it died. It died again.
Yeah, I killed the Chotacabra and then the whole computer froze. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Yep, the whole computer froze after you kill the Chotacabra, and it's just like, and the thing is, like the benchmark they released, like everybody ran the benchmarks on Linux and Windows. Oh, the game runs great. It's amazing. Like you run it in 4K, 60 FPS. It was all a lie.
Yeah.
It was all a lie. They were lying the entire time. They were just trying to buy some time just to release their product. And you know what's crazy? Even as bad as the launch it did, it still sold quite a lot of money. I mean, it still sold quite a lot of copies to make a lot of money, and people still played the game regardless.
Yeah. I think that the funny cope before the game came out is a lot of people were saying, oh, well, the build we're playing is actually like an old build. This is the build they showed off at some early convention a few months back. It's going to be so much better on launch, guys.
Then they release it, and all of a sudden the PS1 game appears.
Yeah, the low poly models were something else.
Yeah, I mean you can enable them on RE framework. They exist because they're being used as a base to hold all the textures and stuff. Yeah. Technically, if you wanted to run it on a potato, you could.
At least back then, the weird thing is back then it wasn't even performing better if it had the low poly models.
Well, there's a huge difference is between intentionally making your low poly models look good, that way it stands the test of time, like the 3DS and PSP games, versus, oh, we're supposed to have these high fidelity models. Why does my character look like it got smashed by a pancake or like a cylinder or something? Why is my legs like above the skybox or something like that? Like, what did they do to their game?
I think the concern a lot of other people have. Sorry, you say something?
Oh yeah, and PS5 and Xbox are having issues too. Like they could be. PS5 was probably the best optimized. Xbox was also having a lot of the same issues. Because it's like similar to Windows, how it's being built, and it just has underlying issues too. So yeah, it's not great.
I think that the main concern that, besides performance, I think a concern a lot of people have with Wilds is it is like Monster Hunter's mainline games are getting faster.
Yeah.
And like a lot of like classic fans, I see sort of that's the problem they have with World, and it's the problem they have with Wilds. It's like portable and mainline are sort of getting closer and closer.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. Like if they want to hit that sweet spot again, just make Rise 2. Make Rise 2, but give it the Wilds. I mean, make it as big as Wilds, if not bigger. But don't go all out on the graphics like you normally would. Give it like a maybe better graphics than Rise, but not super bad.
Mm,
That way it can be more platforms, make it cross-play so more people can play, and
mm,
then make it to where people can run it on their Steam Deck at like 60 FPS,
mm.
1080p or something like that. That way they have a better experience, and it basically gives them a lot more to work with rather than, oh, people are trying to play it on the Steam Deck, get 25 FPS for free, and then the Steam Deck crashes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen with the Steam Deck? Because I know people were like freaking out the other day because they discontinued the lowest end SKU of it, and the reason why they did that is
Uh,
because RAM prices. That's why.
I mean, it's a 64 gigabyte model. What are they
Yeah.
losing? I think what's going to
Yeah.
happen with the Steam Deck is they might end up making a Steam Deck 2 and a Steam Deck Lite because
Mm,
they're already going into ARM architecture to get games running really well. Just imagine this, a Steam Deck Lite
mm,
cheaper than the Steam Deck. So people can play a lot of their like a bulk of their PC games that support the ARM translation layer,
mm, mm, mm.
which is basically a Proton translation layer for ARM devices. Imagine that, and then it's like the kind of like a Switch Lite situation, like $200.
Mm.
$200, 120 gigabytes start out with, and then expand it with an SD card. Right? They can do that, and then you have and then they make a Steam Deck too.
Hmm.
Make it come with like options for 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte hard drive. Upgrade the GPU, the RAM, the screen resolution. Maybe make the buttons more ergonomic to use.
Mm,
Make it even better to use as well. Maybe include a glass screen protector
mm,
and have it, be like essentially like a really powerful console that runs like a modified version of Steam OS that's like really good.
mm, mm.
So like if they can do that, that would be honestly it'd be amazing. Because I have like my cousin ends up using like the Steam ROG Ally X
Mm,
on
mm, mm.
Windows, and I'm like, well, you could get a lot more performance if you installed Bazzlight on it. And then he was like, well, I want to play these games on here. Like, I understand that. And he goes and boots The Last of Us Part 2, and it takes 14 minutes to boot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah, it's not. I also had to fix it because somebody put the ROG Ally X too close to their laptop heat, and it kind of messed up the screen. So I had to fix that. It did, and honestly, opening up an ROG Ally X isn't that hard. It's just easy to move things around and switch it.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know people were talking about there being like a Steam Deck 2 for a while, and Valve said early on they're kind of just waiting for there to be enough of a performance leap.
Yeah.
And right now, we're at 3 years? Steam
Yeah.
Deck
I mean,
release date. Yeah,
I mean,
3
the Steam
years.
Deck is kind of like almost on par with a 76. I mean, their specs should be for like a 7600,
Mm,
basically. Like I have a 7600 XT, which is a little bit above that.
mm, mm.
But they still like their OS is still built for the 7600 or 7000 series and up. So if they get like an equivalent to a 9000 series GPU and CPU and like or like a good like X3D chip or something like that, then that'd be really good. I think right now what they could do though to benefit from, I guess, sort of benefit from the whole crisis of the RAM shortage, is to start looking into ARM
Mm.
more, because if they can get into ARM, since they are capable of doing it with a VR headset, so you can play games like Hades, 2D games, and some 3D games.
Mm.
If they can go ahead and do that and make it like a mobile device people buy for like a cheap amount to kind of get people like into that Steam ecosystem,
Mm, mm.
that'd be really good for them, because then they would be like, okay, well, it's not quite a Steam Deck, but I can play Hollow Knight and Silk Song, I can play all these 2D games, I can play some of these 3D games that aren't super demanding.
Mm.
Um, I have the ability to play like, as much as I want. I can still surf the web on it. Since it's an ARM device, I might be able to also go into Google Play Store. So like, depending on what they want to do with that, they have a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, so as to not cannibalize the Steam machine, I would
Yeah.
imagine if we have another Steam Deck, it probably won't be for at least, I would say, another year and a half.
I think that's right, because they want to make sure the Steam machine is going to be somewhat successful. because like if you're gonna have people who are gonna go all out, they're like, okay, well I'm gonna go use nothing but the Steam machine, Steam Deck, and headset. Put an SD card, use the entire ecosystem, switch between SD cards and stuff like that.
Mhm, mhm.
Some people end up using it for their home theater center. Some people will be like, okay, this is perfect. I'll have a console at home, then I can take my Steam Deck with me, and then I can, potentially take my VR headset with me too. So you go on a business trip, play your game. Say you're playing like Dark Souls, right? Oh, you just saved after you beat like I don't know, Grave Lord Nito, and you're like, oh, I hope I can play this at home. Well, Steam Cloud Saving's a thing. Go play it on your Steam machine. Now you're at home going through the rest of the Duke's archives to kind of just continue your game without really any pause or breaks in between.
Mhm.
You don't really get that with like modern consoles nowadays. Like there are rumors of a PlayStation handheld right now, but it's not really like really super confirmed.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be like, oh, this is gonna be like the PSP 3 or something, or the PlayStation Portable 3. Um,
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I I don't have high hopes for what Sony is doing. And then when you have Xbox and they're like everything is an Xbox. We lose them. We lost them. God damn it. Well, what an episode this has been. Did we just fully DC? I think we might have fully DC'd actually.
I can hear you though.
What?
I can hear you.
Okay, sure. Whatever. You know what? We're at the 2 hour mark anyway. God damn it! What the fuck? This man, disc.
uh,
I don't. I hopefully I can iron this problem out
yeah,
before. Look, hopefully it's just this cool and it's not a
yeah.
problem. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let people know where they can find all of your stuff.
Okay, so you can always find me on KyloNeko.net. Has all my socials linked there. You'll be able to go to my Blue Sky, my VT.social. Eventually, I'll have my Reddit on there as
Mhm.
well, which you can, when I start working on that Reddit account more. And then, you can reach me there. You can always find me on Discord as well. I'm also on Twitch and YouTube, and hopefully those links will be in the description.
Yep.
And then, when if you have any problems with Linux, you can try to come out to me and I'll try to see what I can. There's also people in my Discord who are willing to help people. I think that's a really good quality to have. Maybe you might even be able to participate in the next community video we do, which is really cool. I never even thought it would even get that far, and it's a great thing to see.
Mhm.
And um, even if you're not a VTuber and you just want to get things up and running, still come to the Discord. I understand it says VTuber Linux, tech support. It's also a tech support Discord whenever I'm free or whenever somebody else is free, and they can kind of just like, help you out with certain things, kind of guide you. I mean, I
Mhm.
had somebody go into the Discord who wasn't a VTuber, and they were like, "Oh, having issues with Linux Mint. I just want to play games. Go install Bazite. You'll be fine."
Yeah. Nothing else you want to mention? Nothing you've got coming up
Uh,
that you want to highlight?
I mean, I've been doing a lot of Monster Hunter streams lately. Eventually, I will be doing a Mega Man Classic marathon.
Ooh.
And I will have those listed on Blue Sky and VT.social and in my Discord for a schedule whenever that happens.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's really cool that we're getting Mega Man Dual Override in like a year, so that's gonna be cool. But I'll be definitely be doing that. May end up completing some other Mega Man games along the way as well, and uh, maybe even also continuing FF14 if I can.
Mhm.
But I've been doing like a lot of stuff like that, and then maybe there might be more model reveals at some point whenever I get the chance to do that. Um, and if you always want to support me, you can always go to my Ko-Fi and my Throne It's not required though. You can always just show up to the stream, say hi, follow, communicate in the Discord, and there'll definitely be more things to come. I'll be getting a new GPU soon, so any sort of limitations I might have with higher fidelity models will probably go away with the 2 extra gigabytes of VRAM, hopefully. And then, yeah, and eventually I'll have a test rig up at some point whenever I get the chance to test out more OSs to see, oh, you're dedicated to Bazite. This is how Linux VTubing works on Bazite. This is how Linux VTubing works on Pop! OS, Cosmic. This is how it works on Omarchi or something like that. Like, I might eventually go into that point of doing stuff. I just have to like kind of hold back parts. One of the other words of wisdom is if you're upgrading your PC parts, keep your old PC parts. You're gonna want to do that. There's so many shortages right now. You're gonna have a hard time trying to get anything. Also, don't be afraid to get lower speed RAM if you have to, but not super low, because those are going to be cheaper than trying to get higher speed RAM. And if you're trying to build a NAS server, go with older hardware like DDR3 or any sort of throwaway PC that somebody doesn't want on like Facebook Marketplace, because then you'll be saving a lot of money doing that, and you'll be repurposing old hardware from it going to a landfill.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Nothing else you want to mention? That it?
I think that might be it. I might, unless I forgot something.
Just send me a link
Did I forget
afterwards,
some-
and I can add in the description if you did.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I forgot something or not. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that's how it always goes. Anyway, I guess I'll do my outro and then we'll sign off.
Yeah.
Okay. So my main channel is
Okay.
Brody Robertson. I do Linux videos there 6-ish days a week. Sometimes I stream there as well. Check that out and you will see things. The gaming channel is Brody on Games. Right now I'm playing through Silksong and probably maybe a finished DMC Devil May Cry. If I have, check it out and you'll see what is there instead. And if you're watching the video version, you can find the audio version on basically every podcast platform, and the video is on YouTube at Tech Over Tea. How do you want to sign us off? I'll give you the final word.
Brody, you should play Monster Hunter with me.
I should do that. We'll get around to it.